And they're headed by Joe Rebel for Freddie and Chris Gordon. Colours of Mr. DS Dennis. Green jacket with the stars. Joe Rebel been in really good form this season, winning 4 of 5 and beat 2K when last seen just under a fortnight ago. Joe Rebel is heading towards the 2-mile 1 furlong start. Now that's right in front of the stands here, just to the right-hand side over the chase course. So you'll see they'll make their way back past us and towards the collecting area on the infield. And that means we'll take 12 fences. Red and white checks with the darker checks on the sleeves and a blue cap. Kit Solano for Simon Hunt and Bob Wilson. Brendan Powell riding for David Bridgewater. And number 6 is Miss Fedora for Simon and Christine Prout. The colours being purple with the pink cross belts and armlets. Ellis Collier claiming 5 for Seamus Mullins. Number 2 is Jackpot Cash, in the pale blue colours with the pink spots on the body and pink armlets for Pontoon Racing. Sam Twiston Davis riding for James Owen. And number 4, 2K for Graham Brooks, whose colours are dark blue with light blue stars, half sleeves and a white cap. They're worn by James Davis for trainer Nick Gifford, number 4, 2K. Number 3, Iscarderi, does not run, which leaves a field of 5. Riding all 5 take their chance. There will be 2 places for each way betting. And the market is headed by Joe Rebel, priced at 6 to 5, ahead of 2K at 7 to 4. Jackpot Cash is 9 to 2, with 11 to 1 Miss Fedora. And the outsider, not without some support, is Kit Solano, who was 25 to 1 at one stage and is into 18 to 1. Favourite slightly uneasy, out to 11 to 8 from 11 to 10, but it's still Joe Rebel who heads the market. 2:05 is the off time for the Chailey Classic and Vintage Tractor Club Handicap Chase. So, runners heading down towards the start. The key point is this, is what do you think of 2K's second, which came out of the blue off the back of lots of P's for a stable that have suddenly really hit form. On the face of it, the pull at the weights would mean that you could fancy 2K to reverse the form. But, and it is a big but, 2K prior to that had really been struggling, whereas Joe Rebel had been going from strength to strength. He's only had the 1 run over fences, Joe Rebel, having had the earlier successes over hurdles. And as I say, 2K suddenly turned the corner. I don't really know what to expect. He was a bit of a tearaway over hurdles, to be honest, and see if he can channel it in the right direction. One thing I would mention, as I say, is the form of the Nick Gifford stable, which has been very good. Have a bumper debutant at the end of the card. So this is the Chailey Classic and Vintage Tractor Club Handicap Steeplechase. Now, thanks to those that have brought the tractors on the infield. Might prove useful after racing, but great to see them here. A couple of them are bedecked in Christmas decorations as well. So thank them for their support. And I believe it's the weight in potatoes for the winning rider after the running of this race. I am available for substituting if you need a little bit of extra. But thanks to the Chailey Classic and Vintage Tractor Club for their support of this race and for bringing all the tractors on the infield there. There you go. Special message for our sponsors. As I say, pretty handy here because sometimes you get stuck in a car park. I'm in way for high standing. Final show shows Joe Rebel at 5 to 4, 15 to 8 for 2K, 9 to 2 for Jackpot Cash, 11 to 1 Miss Fedora, and 16 to 1 Kit Solano. So a few of those outsiders have just been backed. Jackpot Cash 11's into 9 to 2, 16's at one stage Miss Fedora and 11's, Kit Solano 16 to 1 from 25's, Joe Rebel back into 5 to 4. They do come from the same form line, and that is quite, I always feel if you choose between the two, beat one of them to beat both of them, which the only realistic one is Jackpot Cash. So I'm not surprised to see money for him. A bit more surprised to see Kit Solano. Not surprised Miss Fedora is not actually without a chance. Runners coming out then for this Chailey Classic and Vintage Tractor Club Handicap Steeplechase, 2 miles and a furlong. And the runners are just being brought together in front of the stands. They'll take a turn and head towards the starter. We have reached post time at 2:05. And the flag is raised. So James staying with his flag to the sky. And runners being called in. And we're off. Joe Rebel and 2K right to the fore in company with Jackpot Cash. So the 3 market leaders stretch wide across the course as we head towards the first. Jackpot Cash and 2K are going to go on from Joe Rebel as they take fence number 1. Kit Solano and Miss Fedora are held up at the back of the field. The 2 battle joined quite early here. 2K on the inside of Jackpot Cash. These 2 eyeballing one another, and they've quickly extended the advantage over Joe Rebel to half a dozen lengths. Fourth place belongs to Kitsilano, just ahead of Miss Fedora, as it's Jackpot Cash who has won the battle for the lead as they head towards the fence at the top of the hill. Jackpot Cash by 2 lengths from 2K, and they are both over well, as was Joe Rebel. Kitsilano slightly on all fours in fourth place, and Miss Fedora. So we're well spaced out here as Jackpot Cash down the hill leads for Tam Twiston Davis by 2 lengths from 2K. They're about 8 lengths clear now from Joe Rebel, who's 4 in advance of Kitsilano, as we race towards the plain fence just before the open ditch. Jackpot Cash will arrive at it first. Runs down to the right slightly, but is over from 2K. Joe Rebel, Kitsilano, and Miss Fedora. Short run to the ditch. Jackpot Cash arrives at it first, and again is over. 2K in second. Joe Rebel's just closed slightly in third. Is about 5 lengths further back, as the fizz just comes out of the step of the front pair. Kitsilano in fourth. Miss Fedora in fifth place. So Jackpot Cash has won the battle for the lead, leading by 3 lengths. 2K is under restraint now by James Davis in second place. Joe Rebel is 4 lengths further back with 3 to Kitsilano and another length to Miss Fedora as they make the turn up the home straight. Approaching the next fence with Jackpot Cash out in the lead. Jackpot Cash is over from 2K. Joe Rebel in third place, Kitsilano and Miss Fedora, as Jackpot Cash leads them down towards the next fence, and we're approaching the halfway stage. Jackpot Cash away to the right, 2K to the left, and 2K just put down there. It was a long stride, the horse declined, just brushed through the top. And Jackpot Cash, Tam Twiston Davis now after that early joust for the lead, just trying to fill the tank, and the field compresses as a result, with 2K still in second place, but only a length down. Joe Rebel is third, Miss Fedora and Kitsilano are notably closer as they bunch up after a circuit here. So Jackpot Cash out in the lead, 2K in second place. Joe Rebel towards the inside of Miss Fedora and Kitsilano as Jackpot Cash led them over that fence. Jackpot Cash in the lead, 2K a length further back. Joe Rebel just shaken up in third as the pace has just lifted again, and that's once again seen the front pair stretch away. Miss Fedora and Kitsilano, who briefly closed up, are once again now just playing catch up as they turn at the top of the hill. Jackpot Cash by a length from 2K, and Joe Rebel just pushed up in third place to take closer order here as we race towards 5 from the finish. Jackpot Cash, straw astride a long way out. 2K in second, Joe Rebel closing now in third place to within a neck, half a length of the second horse, and the front 3 bunch up. Kitsilano in fourth, and they've dropped Miss Fedora. Kitsilano not out of touch with the front 3 and is within 5 lengths of them, but Miss Fedora has readily been dropped. Jackpot Cash leading 2K and Joe Rebel towards the fourth last fence. Jackpot Cash over in the lead, jumps out to the right. 2K, and the straighter course was charted by Joe Rebel, who now begins to make progress. Then Kitsilano, last ditch. And Joe Rebel charted the better course over those 2 fences and has readily gone past both Jackpot Cash and 2K. Kitsilano is in fourth place. So Joe Rebel, pushed up to challenge, has quickly gone past the other 2. Jackpot Cash, 2K, Kitsilano, as Joe Rebel turns for home and has got an extending lead here. 5 to 6 lengths. Complexion of this race changed markedly. Jackpot Cash 2K is now very laboured as the front 2 seem to pay for their exertions, and Kitsilano is the one that is staying on to press for second. Joe Rebel had a good look at the second last, is out in front rather idling, but has got a clear advantage over Jackpot Cash and Kitsilano, and down towards the final fence as Miss Fedora pulls up before 2 out. Joe Rebel, race at his mercy, is about a dozen lengths clear and jumps it really well. Kitsilano's moved through into second place. Jackpot Cash and 2K pay for forcing such a strong gallop, but Joe Rebel, a 5th success from 6 starts this season. Doubles on the day for Freddie and Chris Gordon. In the colours of Mr. D.S. Dennis, Joe Rebel beating the second place Kitsilano, Jackpot Cash and 2K third and fourth.